Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Yuki, and welcome back to my channel today. And today, I'm giving you guys not only just a deck profile of Swordsoul and Master Duel, but I'm gonna actually take this on a rank ladder right now. I actually give you guys a goal of actually what this deck can actually do. There's many different things that you can do with this deck, how the way this deck works. This deck overall can actually be pretty powerful. So I don't play Denlong in this deck, so I don't know if you guys know that, but like I just don't like want to run Denlong in this deck because I feel like there's other things in this deck that you can run that's just more beneficial. But I do play two Adhara, three Maxi, obviously two Ash, two Ghost Bell, and then obviously in order to stop Maxi and Master Duel, you do need to at least play Ash and call by. I like this build is like a little frustrating though because I do want to play more of this deck. Like I wish I could have more diversity in my deck, but because of this bug right here, you have to play at least two, like at least these and then those as well. And then this obviously right here is to stop cards like Called by the Grave or cards that just like to banish. But in my deck, I actually run two Cashier Fenrir. So if I don't have a monster on my side of the field, this is just a free body that I can summon. So right now, I'm just like showing you like all the cards that I have in this deck. Towards the end, I'm probably gonna go more in depth on how like these cards work, and then just give you a general overall like presentation on how this deck works. But yeah, to actually give you guys a general rundown on this recording. So what this card actually does, Moye. Um, when it's normal or special summon, it allows you to reveal any Swordsoul card or Swordsoul monster in your hand. I said Swordsoul card or Swordsoul monster. No, Swordsoul card or a worm monster in your hand. And essentially, when it's summoned, you can actually special summon a token, a Swordsoul token to your side of the field, which then allows you to go into your synchro plays. So on summon, you can see revealed the Taie, and then actually I go into Shishao. So what you do from here, like I said, Shishao is a very good card. Shishao is probably, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important Swordsoul cards that you have. This card is the best card in the main deck. This it's a tie between this and then Long Yuan. But what this allows you to do, what we're gonna do is Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So the reason why I went Chain Link 1 and Chain Link 2 is because just to block off cards like Ash Blossom. So I would rather Ash hit this than I would rather have Ash hit the Shishao. So what Shishao allows you to do is on summon, it allows you to add any Swordsoul card to your hand, or you can banish it. Typically, you don't want to banish like the card that you add to your hand. So what I did right is I added the Long Yuan to my hand, and then off of Moya's effect, I actually drew into the emergence. So with me drawing into the emergence and me having Taie in my hand and actually gonna like use Long Yuan here, what I did was use the emergence to add not a Swordsoul monster or like a Swordsoul monster, but I added a worm monster to my hand because I control a Swordsoul synchro monster. So Protos literally is gonna lock my opponent out from special summoning dark monsters, essentially, because typically, if you don't know what your opponent is playing, you always want to say dark, because dark monsters are the monsters that are most prevalent in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period, point blank. Anytime like you don't know what your opponent is playing, you always want to say dark. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Long Yuan. Long Yuan's effect on activation allows you to pitch a Swordsoul card or a Swordsoul, not a Swordsoul. I keep saying Swordsoul monster. A Swordsoul card, or it allows you to pitch a worm monster to special summon it to your side of the field to actually add another token. So typically, what I do here is I go out into obviously the Long Yuan. And right here, you have three plays where you can go out to. Going second is probably best to actually go into Supreme Sovereign, because Supreme Sovereign essentially just beats your opponent down. But since we're going first, I could have either went into Sovereign. I could have went into Center Sovereign, which is Long Yuan, like the other version of Long Yuan, I could have went out to Baron the floor. So this allows you to banish one spell or trap during a turn, or one monster during a turn that was special summoned, essentially. And then what it does is for each time you banish them, it inflicts 1200 life points damage, essentially like what Long Yuan does here. So on Synchro Summon, I'm gonna go on to Baron the floor. So I chose Baron is because, like, obviously I get the negate. I get the one time I'm being negate off of anything that my opponent does. And Long Yuan effect is gonna activate to burn my opponent for 1200. And then, like I said, with Protos allows you to banish 3 monsters with 3 different attributes from either your field or graveyard to summon it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call dark monsters. So my opponent is locked out from actually special summoning dark monsters for the rest of the turn. So with that being said, my opponent is essentially out of luck. So my opponent here is going to summon the Ecclesia, but in doing so, I don't think he realized he couldn't special summon dark monsters because of Protos. So he can't summon any Bestials, so like any like Magnum Hut or Serenair or Baldrake or what's the other, Druid's Worm. He can't summon any of those because I locked him out of that. So what he's gonna do right here is he's gonna actually try to go out into Lubellion. So what I do here is I activate Infinite Impermanence. So Infinite Impermanence, when it's activated, right here, when it's activated, it can obviously negate a monster effect, but whatever column is right here, the column that's like that the effect negation activated in, you can't activate any spells or traps in his zone, because if you do, it's gonna negate it completely. So my opponent activates Serenair's effect to actually send a card to the graveyard. So right here, it's my turn. Pretty much, it's GG's at this point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna declare an effect to stop him from summoning dark monsters. So I'm also, not only am I going to get a free draw with Maxi, but both of his Fallen Albaz are gone. So now I can just activate Baron's effect, pop his card, and I could have just went into the battle phase, but he surrendered technically. So yeah, so that's typically how a Swordsoul play goes.
Was like